All right, so I found this in the Library of Congress. This is my third time doing this video, TikTok. But 1724, The Conquest of Mexico by Antonio Salas. Now, these people are melanated Indians, but before we get to that, look at the structures in the back. Look how high they go. Look at the little steeple things or whatever on the top, reaching all up, what y'all would call, free energy like things. But we're going to look closer at this. But this is 1724 depicted. Now, like I said, I saw this in the Library of Congress, and I could tell it was a book because here's the book cover, hardbook cover, the other side of the book cover, and the pages. And in the middle, there's the little fold. So we know that this is in a book, so I had to get on the hunt for this book. And as you can see, the people are melanated compared to the Spaniards. Even look at the hair and the shortness of it compared to the Spaniards. Okay, and look at the people's their whole physique, just like and different from the Spaniards, just like us today. You know what I'm saying? And these are melanated. There's your Spaniard. Easy to see, right? Hairstyle. Look at that hair right there. Look at the hair. And here's a whole plethora of them, okay? If you think that they were getting the depiction wrong. But I knew that these were our building structures because you can see the melanated Indians in the window. So I scoured around looking for this book, and I'm still scouring, okay? All of these are links that I selected, and a lot of these books, all of them, did not have the actual drawing inside of them. They were all altered versions of the book because it's being censored. Here's one of the books, so you can know that I'll go into the books. And what I do is I open them all the way up and I scroll through to see at least if I can see that drawing. So at least if it had this drawing in it, then I know that I'm in the right book that I'm looking for, right? It's literally showing me a description of them. So if it doesn't have this, then what am I doing? Reading it. Now, when you go looking for these books, these old books that have been altered, it will be possible to find remnants of them through other means. What am I saying? This is eBay. Somebody's selling a book on eBay. Now, they didn't show that particular drawing, but they showed other drawings, which I'm going to get in closer to. This shows us playing on like Mayan-like temples, which are all throughout Mexico, playing on these temples and enjoying ourselves. This also shows a city, a compound, an actual place that does not look like some TP setup like stuff. These are stone structures. Now that was on eBay. I was also able to find the book on some other random website, and I noticed that it had to be the correct book because it has the same drawing from the Library of Congress. But this one sold out and it doesn't have a full digital version. I just got lucky that they actually put this in there. Digitized on here because these are the only photographs they show for it. And so you can see I'm on the same site and I'm zoomed in. And so that lets you know that these people, there's people that know that they're keeping up this censorship. And not only that, the censorship was so major back in the day in the 1700s, 1600s, whatever, that there's so many books printed of the fake versions that it makes it hard to find the real version. And that was by design. Now I'm going to come to this book that I've read before that I'm going to show you that how these people would censor us and who it was that censored us for hundreds of years. Also Europe. But before we get to this same thing happened in another book, which is why this actually prompted me to go back towards that book, which is this book. Somebody had showed me this book and this cover or title page or whatever within on a YouTube video long ago. Eventually, I found the English version of it, and I'm gonna show you that. But notice this is the Spanish version. Notice you have a melanated Indian. You notice you have curly hair, with the bow and arrows and feathers. But when I found the YT version, which is still in Spanish, but they brought it over and it's in England, in the US or Europe or wherever now, they've placed a YT head in its place. Let me get close so you can see it. But this ain't even the only version because that almost has a little bit of shading, almost making you think that it could be the Indian, right? But there's other messed up versions of this book with an even more YT head and curly hair. Not even curly, but like the little poof things they had. I don't know what they call. Here's another version. These people be playing. I would show right here, but it almost looks like breast, even though this is a dude. It's supposed to be a dude. And here you have one that's even more obvious. Same book, but the head is very much so unmelanated compared to the rest of the body. Now, these are real books. These are real reprints of the same book, which I found on another website finally that had this guy on it. Now, notice how obvious this is correct. Okay, and he's stepping on what looks like a Bible and on a crown. You know what I'm saying, with the little scepter. And I wonder, you know what? I'm just now thinking about this. Stepping on the crown and scepter, like stepping on that Christianity and the Spanish crown coming over trying to take over the Indians. Just thought about that. But regardless, this is the actual book. And I found it on another website, which is in all French or Spanish. This could be, I think this is one of the two. I think this is French though. But I found it on a website that actually had the real thing. So this is, just think about that. In the American websites, it was hard to find the real thing. On these French other websites, I can find sometimes somebody showing an actual digitized version of the real thing. And inside this book, you can literally see even more melanated Indians on the couple of actual drawings that they showed. Just to kind of put in more close, look at the hair, look at the high colored melanation. And I don't know what he's stepping on. It almost looks like something you use for going through snow, but I don't think they're going through snow. And there's another melanated Indian right there. Now, again, let me bring you to a book that talks about this. It says, at this distance of time, when the state of the world is so different from what it was in the 16th century, the 1500s, it may not be readily conceived how easy it was for the Council of the Indies, through the power vested in it, of permitting or prohibiting the general circulation of all writings relative to America, to keep the rest of Europe in a state of darkness respecting the history of the new continent. It says, for these centuries, those who successfully composed that council, the Council of the Indies, exercised their functions as censors, censorship, book publication alteration, stopping the circulation of Spanish books who were telling the truth, censoring the truth of America having melanated Indians who spoke Hebrew, who practiced certain religious practices and things of that nature, with the greatest vigilance. If powerful patronage or inadvertence on their part suffered, or whatever. It kind of keeps going, but it starts to give examples of how they did censorship. Even on this page, it says the secret correspondence of Cortez with Charles V, together with the rigorous censorship which was exercised by the Holy Tribunal, the Council of the Indies, successfully proved that even this least offensive view of the subject was to be expressed with reserve. Meaning, hey, if you want to talk about the letter between these two guys, you better keep some of that information about America out of there. Because Mexico is America. Get it out your head that it's not. If you think it's not, you're an idiot. This whole continent, the whole north and south connected landmass is America. And in that conquest of America, they found melanated Indians. And they were telling about those melanated Indians until the Council of the Indies told them to stop it. Now, they were still doing it, but it looks like they weren't putting these books into publication as much as the other books. They're altered versions. But you see the structures, you see the people, you see the lies. And you can see some if you can find some. It ain't easy, but you can find some. And you can see how to fucking deal with these people's lies, because they be playing.